Yeah,
Yep.
I got it set up.
All right, I'm clicking go live now. Well, we're live. Welcome. Thanks for joining us on this lovely. The fuck day is it?
It's a Thursday.
Thursday.
It is.
Thanks for joining us on this lovely Thursday. First off, first order of business. Apologies for Tuesday. We got rocked. I believe, and I would have to scroll through to double check. I believe that was the second worst day of the MLB season. Was Tuesday for us. I believe that was the second worst day of the season. There was one day where I think we dropped 7.1 units back in May, but this is the second worst day of the MLB season. So obvious apologies for that. Unfortunately, it is part of this business. Sometimes you can do everything right and still just get rocked. Even though, I would love to sit here and be like, yo, it's not our fault, shit happens. But looking back, when we were getting hit that night, there was definitely, I think some of it was my fault. Because I was like, why didn't I see that? There was a couple of bad breaks, but at the same time, some bad picks in there too. So it's a combination. But here we are on Thursday. Apologies for yesterday as well. I slept right through the live. Whatever happens. But we're back. It's Thursday, and I'm feeling the heat tonight. I'm feeling it. You guys ready to just go ahead and get started? Anything you want to say before we start?
I just want to start off, dude. Marcus Stroman is a goddamn stud right now. Buddy's absolutely dealing his face off. I'm truly shocked that nobody got him at the deadline. He looks excellent. Ever since returning from injury, excellent. So just want to say that, give him his props, because I didn't bet on him today because it was the Cardinals, and there he goes, doing his thing. Guy's friggin' nuts right now.
I'm glad I took Toast's advice. He told me on the phone, stay away from that game, because I was going to bet the Cardinals, too.
Dude, Stroman's nasty right now.
What's the score of the
Pirates just tied it at 3. If they hit a base hit, we'll at least push our over. So
that's good. Beautiful. All right, so I'm sorry. Without further ado, let's jump in, and we're starting with the Dodgers at Giants game.
I'm going first.
Let Toast go first.
So you guys already know what the play is, right? Wrong. Giants, first 5 money line at plus 175. Giants, money line at plus 188. I am not taking the 1.5 because I keep on telling you guys that's how you play the Dodgers. You play a minus 1.5 or you play them straight up on the money line. Why am I doing this? First and foremost, I honestly feel like we have a pitching advantage with the Giants with Junis over Kershaw. If you take a look at their numbers against the opposing team and just overall the last couple months or month, Junis has been the better guy, and it's not even really close. Now, do the Giants have a much worse offense than the Dodgers? Yeah, but the Giants don't have to play the Padres tomorrow, and the Giants do, and that is going to be a huge deal for the Padres and the Dodgers. This could be a possible look-ahead spot for LA. This is the 5th time that these guys have played. I really think that at this number, again, I wouldn't be playing this if it was plus 120, but at plus 175 and plus 188, I'd be crazy not to take a flyer on the Giants right now. Also, just really quickly, they were in some of these games. They had a 5-run 5th inning the other night, and last night they lost 3-0 when they had a base running blunder with the bases loaded that would have brought another person up. So, again, they didn't win. We all cashed with our Dodgers minus 1.5, but today, at this value, I'm riding with the guys in orange.
Beaver, where are you on this game?
I'm feeling the same exact way. I mean, I said to you guys I'm going to be riding the Dodgers money minus 1.5 for most of the rest of the series. But now that the Dodgers have won 4 straight games, they got the Padres on deck. The Giants, I mean, this is still a division rival. This is still a great rivalry. They want to come out and they want to beat this team. And Junis has been really good all season. I mean, he started against them earlier this year, went 5 innings, allowed 2 earned runs and 5 hits through 5 innings. Also struck out 5, which he doesn't do a lot, so that's really good for me. And his last 2 starts back have been great. 1.08 ERA, 1.2 WHIP. He's slightly worse at home, I'll give him that, but the fact that he handled them already earlier in the season is great. And guys, Clayton Kershaw is a god. Don't get me wrong, I love Clayton Kershaw, but he really doesn't have the best numbers against this Dodgers lineup. But 877 OPS is not something I'm looking to back. And he's gotten touched his last 2 starts. I don't know where everybody else is watching Clayton Kershaw, but last 2 starts against Colorado and San Francisco, 6.52 ERA, 1.55 WHIP, and then let's look at his last 3 starts against San Francisco. 0-2, 6.91 ERA, 1.54 WHIP. I really don't want to pass up on this value here at plus. I got it at plus 180, Toast. You want it at plus 180?
Yeah. Hell
Okay. Yeah. So I mean,
No, I prefer to stay at 175.
At plus 180, I'm gonna play it sharp. I like the value here a lot. And I think it's the right side to be on, at least through the first 5. I'm not dealing with that bullpen whatsoever. No. But I will definitely be riding with them through the first 5.
Same exact boat as me, and obviously there's really not much more to say. I think this is the right side and the right time to take a sharp stab with the Giants. Beaver, I'm on San Francisco first 5 plus a half run at plus 110. Just a half unit. Even though I'm confident that this is the right time to take a shot with the Giants, I still am not blind to how this series has gone so far because it's been ugly. So it does put a little bit of hesitation in me to just go lay some bread on the Giants, which is why I'm staying away from the full game, just taking the first 5 plus a half run. Like Beaver said, Kershaw's last 2 starts were not pretty at all. The Giants on the season have definitely been better against left-handed pitching than they have against right-handed pitching. And then even in the last 2 weeks, they're 20th in the MLB against lefties, so they're slipping a bit, but still, that's still miles better than they are against righties when they're towards the bottom of the MLB. Is it Jacob Junis or Jakob Junis? Jacob or Jakob?
I think it's Jacob. I was trying to be fancy with Jakob, assuming he's a foreigner of sorts, but it's Jacob.
Well, our boy spells it the exact same on the Spurs. Jakob.
That is true.
So I thought it was Jakob.
Maybe they're from different.
I'm not sure, to be dead honest with you.
Well, Junis has been pitching really well. So this first 5 plus a half run even more comfortable. Just a half unit on that AJ. A little scared of the Dodgers. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I feel that for sure.
I mean, it's pretty much like with the Yankees going through what they're going through. The Astros sputtered a little bit. They just lost that series to Boston. I think the Dodgers have established themselves as the best team in baseball, and I don't think anyone can really debate that right now. I mean, it could be humming a different tune in 2 or 3 weeks, but right now, I don't think anyone can argue with that. All right, so Oakland A's at LA Angels, and I'm going to go first here. I love the Angels here. There's a lot of sharp money on Oakland, and I'm not really seeing it. I know a lot of people are still riding the Oakland A's are hot train, but that train is out of commission. Those bats are no longer hot. In their last 4 baseball games, the Oakland A's have scored a combined 7 runs in their last 4. So I don't even care if Jansen Junk is pitching for the Angels. I'm officially placing the Oakland A's back on the dog shit list, along with the Nationals. They're on there with a couple other teams, but I'm putting them back there where I've had them for most of the season. I know this is the only thing. There's a little bit of hesitation here because I know Paul Blackburn has really good numbers on the road. But personally, I don't even care if Paul Blackburn throws 6 innings of 1-run ball. I still think the Angels win this game. I'm also on the Angels money line minus 117 for a full unit. As far as the total, I strong lean on the under. I'm not going to play it, but if you're looking to bet a total here, I would look at the under. Beaver, why don't you go second?
All right. So this is really, really simple for me. Paulie Blackburn on the road is a moneymaker, people. The guy in the first 5 is 11-1 this season. 11-1. That is insane. So give me that Oakland first 5 money line. What I got that at? I got that at minus 105. I mean, what are we even talking about here? I like Jansen Junk. I was calling him a piece of trash during the last show, and I was just completely dead wrong. He actually looked phenomenal against the Royals. But here's the thing. Blackburn has pretty much owned the Angels throughout his entire career. Looking at his numbers against the lineup, 592 OPS. And then his last 3 starts against them, he's 1-0 with a 1.5 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. And on top of that, he's won the first 5 all 3 times. I've been looking at the Angels game logs. They happen to not be winning so many first 5s. So I just think that there's a lot of value here at very low vig, and Paul Blackburn's the man. Another thing I was looking at is through different points of the year, whether or not they're hitting for Paul Blackburn. And in some games, they may just score 1 run in the first 5, and crazily enough, That's all they need to do. Just looking since break, the Oakland Bats have better numbers. I understand the past 4 days they've fallen off a bit, but they have been facing some really solid pitching. So I'm really not going to take that away from them. I like the edge here. Give me Oakland in the first 5.
This one comment says, Beaver was out in the sun too long at the Pittsburgh game. Toast, which side are you on here?
100% in agreement with the Beaver. Same exact bet. I bet on Paul Blackburn on the road, and I would actually feel the same way with you. I'm actually going to throw a half a unit as long as it's not juiced. Oh, yeah, half a unit on the under 8 at plus 100.
So do you want a half unit on both, or do you want 0.75?
0.75 and
Okay.
0.75 on the money line and half a unit on the total, please.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way I would bet the Angels first 5, so I don't really fault you guys for taking that. Personally,
I'm just taking the under in the game because it's plus 100, and I have a hard time believing that it goes over. I mean, if you take a look at this series history, their last couple games, 2-0, 4-3, 9-1, then 4-1, 4-2, 5-3, 4-1, 3-1, 3-1. So I'll take that.
Yeah, not only just this series, but they've both been playing to the under strong in the last 5 games.
Also, just in terms of when Blackburn hasn't recorded a win on the road, it's always the bullpen blowing up. So, I mean, I think there's a universe where we both can cash out here, but I got to ride Blackburn in that first 5. Let's go to the next one.
Next game, Rockies at Padres. Anyone want to start, or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
All right. So, Kyle Freeland on the road is undervalued. Let me start there. This is not an indication of where my bet is. You'll see. But I want to give him his props because he's actually got a 3.47 ERA on the road this season. The dude's been pitching fine on the road. Colorado loses a ton of the games he starts on the road and a ton of road games, period. But it's not his fault. It's a result of this Rockies team just having zero ability to hit the ball and score runs outside of Coors Field. So let's back off Kyle Freeland a little bit because he hasn't been that bad. Meanwhile, you got the Padres here. We're in San Diego. Padres, not only were they showing signs of improvement hitting against left-handed pitchers before the trade deadline, but now you're going to throw in Juan Soto and Josh Bell into that lineup? There's no way. All right, here's my bets, San Diego minus 1.5 at minus 130. Put 0.75 units on that. And Colorado team total under 2.5 at minus 105 for a half unit. Joe Musgrove on the mound. He's a monster at home. And it almost tells the story for me. He's seen Colorado twice this year. He shut them down in San Diego. He got rocked by them in Coors Field. And that just tells the tale of the Colorado Rockies bats this year. They just do not score runs outside of Coors. And if you remember, if you were watching me and Toast last year, it was the same story last year. It was like you fade Colorado on the road, bet them at home. It hasn't been as extreme this year, but right now it's very extreme. This is straight up a fade of the Rockies lineup on the road.
Honestly,
Toast, you want to go second? Or Beaver. Beaver, go ahead.
Kyle,
Go ahead, Beaver.
it truly warms my heart that you think the Rockies are going to score under 2.5 because I'm in the same boat here. I'm just going to get some plus money with it as well, and I'm going with Musgrove under 1.5 ER. Well, that's earned runs in the business for plus 120, and I'm putting 0.75 units on that bad boy. Musgrove doesn't have the craziest hit rate at home with this. I'll just be front up about it. But simply put, the Colorado Rockies cannot hit the ball on the road, and it's really not even close. I mean, if you look at some of their recent games against right-handed pitchers, they're not doing anything. Yu Darvish did get lit up by them a bit, but you see Yu Darvish every time he faces the Rocky, he gets lit up. And that's not even on the road. That's at home, too. Joe Musgrove, that is a completely different story for Mr. Musgrove. You want to hear Joe Musgrove's last 4 home starts against the Rockies since last year? Oh, he's 3-1 with a 0.47 ERA, a 0.78 whip, and a 39.1 K percentage. That is about as nasty as it gets.
How depressing is it? Hold on. How depressing is it that the dude has in his last 4 starts against the Rockies, he has a 0.47 ERA and somehow has a loss.
I know.
Like, that's what a scumbag lineup the Padres were for that.
Well, that's the reason the Padres traded for those guys, and I don't think it's going to be happening much more. I think actually Musgrove to record a win is going to start being a cash cow, especially at home. And then the last thing I want to note, the last 17 to 25 righties against Colorado at home have gone under this total. We cashed out with Mike Clevenger the other day, and I love Clevenger, but I think Musgrove is like twice as good as him. So I really like to back him in the spot. I posted earlier today, Musgrove over 5.5 Ks on Twitter. That has moved to 6.5. If you could get it at plus money, I wouldn't do the full unit I have, but a half unit is definitely worth a look as well.
All right, Mr. Toast, are you with us?
I am. I'm actually going to steal a page out of the Beavers playbook and take that Musgrove to record a win at minus 125 for 0.75 units. I think it's a good way to get the juice down, and you guys have already detailed on how well he pitches at home.
Wow, he's going with a prop straight out of the Beavers book.
I love it, Toast.
Wow. I love it.
I mean, if I didn't have 2 plays on the game already, I'd play it too, but all right.
So all of us in agreement of how we think this game's going to go, it looks like. Next game, Washington at Philly. Toast, why don't you start? He hates capping the Phillies right now. I notice every time we get to a Phillies game, he does like a head shake.
They're a hard team to read, but they are scumbags, and they have Thor on their mound. Give me Washington plus 1.5 at whatever the number is, plus 100. I actually think that Espino actually has pitched pretty decently. I understand. If you take a look at who he's faced, let's just pull up what he's done over the last couple of games. He got a little kind of hit hard against the St. Louis Cardinals. That's fine. 4 2/3 with 4 runs. At LA and against those mighty Dodgers, he went 4 innings and gave up a run. He gave up 3 runs to Atlanta. Then he faced Atlanta before that. He gave up 2 runs. Philly got him for 4. But, I mean, I'm not seeing this horrible pitcher. And then you've got Thor coming to a new team. I already like to fade him anyway. I'm assuming that everybody and their mother is going to be on the Philly scumbags today too. So if you're going to give me plus money with a 1.5, I'm going to take it with the Nationals. I don't care what their lineup does. Looks like.
I'll go second.
Just a half or 0.75.
I'll go next because I'm in the exact same boat.
Oh.
Nice.
So, Paulo Espino, for all the shit I talked about this guy, he actually has some pretty solid numbers. On the season, he's got a 3.38 ERA on the road. I mean, that's solid as hell. His problem is he really doesn't pitch too deep into games. So that's where the criticism belongs for him. I was calling him trash about a month ago, and I'm eating my words because he's pitching fine. He only averages just over 4 innings per start. So that's what really you can expect for him. 4 to third. A great start would be 5 for Paulo Espino. Now, here's the X factor for my bet. Here is why I'm on Washington. Are you ready for this? The Nationals bullpen in the Nationals bullpen in the past 2 weeks is top 10 in ERA and top 5 in on-base percentage allowed, batting average allowed, and slugging percentage allowed. So if I got Espino giving me 4 innings, then I'm passing the ball to a red-hot Nats bullpen. I can't believe those words are even coming out of my mouth. But the numbers don't lie. The Nationals bullpen is throwing well right now. They pitch really well in that Mets series. And also, so one of the strengths here, one of the reasons that this game's priced so high, I would assume, is because of Noah Syndergaard's splits. He's been very good at home. Can we even count this as a home? I mean, this is his first home start in this stadium. So in my opinion, we should just throw those splits out, because home is now a completely different spot for Noah Syndergaard. So I'm not even taking his home and away splits into consideration here. Do you want to know where these two, this is interesting too. I bet you guys wouldn't have guessed this. Do you want to know in the past 2 weeks where these two teams rank in OPS against right-handed pitching? Washington's 20th and the Phillies are 21st.
22nd.
Now, before you bring up Juan Soto, 22nd? Yeah, okay, whatever. Washington's ahead of them. That's the point. And before you bring up the Juan Soto and Josh Bell thing, I personally looked this up. Juan Soto only had 5 hits in the past 2 weeks before he was traded. So Josh Bell was hitting a little bit, but the point is, Washington is up at 20th in the MLB, ahead of Philly, not on the backs of Soto and Josh Bell. There are other pieces in that lineup that are scoring runs. I'm on the Nats, man. Give me Washington plus 1.5 at plus 100 for 0.75 units.
Yeah, all right. So you said a lot of great points there, and I'm not one to argue. I love the spot for the Nationals. I think that the Nationals, for quite a bit, are going to be a team that gets slept on heavily when they're coming into a series. But to be honest with you, I don't really think that should be the case. We saw what they did against the Mets bullpen twice, actually. They scored, I think, 6 runs in the 9th inning yesterday, or 5 it may have been. And then as soon as DeGrom left the game the other day, they lit them up too. You know who else has a horrible bullpen? Oh, I don't know, the Phillies, who are 30th in ERA, OBP, and slug since the All-Star break. And let's just look at some of the Nats numbers against Syndergaard. Victor Robles is 4-12 with 3 home runs against Syndergaard. You got Michael Franco, who's 8-25 with 2 home runs against Syndergaard. And then you got Cesar Hernandez, who's 12-30 against Syndergaard. Those are 3 pretty key guys in the Nats lineup that have all hit him pretty well. So I'm necessarily not in love with the spot for Syndergaard, and I loved what you were saying about this not being a true home start, because it isn't. This is his first home start. Well, this is his first start in front of Philly fans, which can turn on you in 2 seconds if you have a bad inning. So this is going to be a tough outing for Syndergaard in terms of emotions and stuff like that. And I really like the spot for the Nationals. I'm going to put 0.75 units on that, and I'm also going to put 0.5 units on the over 9 at plus 100 as well.
Also, just one other bat to add to that Nationals lineup. Alcides Escobar. He's 9 for 6, or he's 6 for 9 with a 889 OPS against Thor as well. So
are you on baseball?
Keep it going,
reference?
Nats.
Are you on Stat?
Yeah.
He got cut.
Yeah.
That's why they included
What?
him. Yeah.
That mother.
He got cut.
How do you get DFAs with these type of lineups against a stud like Thor? I don't understand.
Just bad
Yo,
timing.
serious question. How many runs would Syndergaard have to give up in the first inning for the Phillies fans to boo him in the first inning of his first start?
One.
Shut up! No way. I'm saying 4.
Nah,
4.
They'll actually boo him to death if he gives up a hit. Bunch of dirtbags.
Actually, you know what? You're right. He might have 4 because he made that comment on Twitter like, I'll leave your ex-wife at home or something. Scumbag Philly fans love that type of stuff. So they already have a little bit of love for him right now.
True. They do like that kind of stuff. Next game, please.
All right.
Okay.
Atlanta at Mets. I have the Astros game next, so let me scroll down to my notes. All right, Beaver, why don't you start us off?
All right, so in the previous series against these two, I was fading my Mets pretty heavily. It didn't feel right. I wasn't liking who I was as a person at the time. But I'll just be completely honest with you guys. I actually like the Mets in the first 5 here quite a bit. So Mets first 5 money line, minus 118, and I'm going to put 0.75 units on that bad boy. I mean, can we give a round of applause for Carlos Carrasco? The guy has been on fire. Thank you, guys. The guy's been on fire ever since those 2 Houston starts. 0.90 ERA, 655 OPS, a 0.3 home run per 9. I mean, he's been doing it all. I also love the 52.5 ground ball percentage. Keep him on the ground. I think the Mets have great fielders to get it done. He hasn't allowed a run in 3 straight starts, and also he's 6-1 at home. He's played phenomenal at home thus far. And
wait. Oh, never mind. They're saying your voice is very low, Beaver. By the way,
I'm trying to raise it up. Should I take this thing off? I'm taking this thing off. Maybe you'll hear me better now.
Dude, that thing is not going to do the volume.
Do you think if I turn the knob at the bottom, it will go up a bit?
Whoa! Yeah. It just got loud.
All right. So I turned it down. Okay. Is it good now?
More, bro.
All right.
No.
All right, Chiefs. How we doing now? Is this good?
Lower.
Jesus Christ. Now?
Lower, bro.
They're saying I'm fine.
Oh.
Okay. It's
never mind. Just go.
All right. Yes. Man. Yeah, so on top of that, Kyle Wright has rough numbers against this Mets lineup. He's got a 435 OBP, 1035 OPS, just a 10.7 K percentage. really not good numbers. Last 4 starts against the Mets, you want to know who's putting up? 6.17 ERA, 1.8 WHIP, and a 1-3 record. I really think that the Mets have the advantage in the first 5. I'm not touching the bullpen. I'll just tell you that right now. I'm not touching the bullpen. I truly think that the Mets bullpen is trash, and it's a big reason why I'm pretty mad about the deadline. But through the first 5, I like what we got here with Carrasco.
Yeah, now they're saying it's loud, and I think that guy is not a troll. That guy.
No, Adrian's not a troll. All right, I lowered it. I'm lowering it.
That sounds better. I think that might be it. You want to go next, Toast? You want me to?
It's either way. I'm on the Mets too. So if you have a different take, then go ahead.
I'm on the Mets.
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
go. But I didn't take the first 5, even though I completely understand. I completely understand why Beaver did. It's Cookie Carrasco's last 3 starts have been unreal. I mean, he's pitched 19 consecutive scoreless innings, this guy. So, yeah, he deserves the credit. But something like that, it's almost only a matter of time before he does give up a few runs, and I think he will tonight. But, so I know the Mets are returning home. So, wait, Beaver, I have Mets money line minus 125 for a full unit. Mets money line minus 125 full unit. I know the Mets are just returning home from a road trip, but this isn't like one of those situations where you have a team returning for a road trip and they'll probably come out flat tonight. They've had this series circled, man. They're seeing the Braves. They're battling for the division. 2 of the best teams in baseball in the same division. Trust me, there's no way that the Mets are just going to come out lackadaisical against the Braves. If they get beat, it won't be because they're a lack of energy. I think there's no doubt in my mind that the Mets are the better team here overall. I know the Braves are the defending champions, but I don't think there's many people that are going to sit there and say, on paper, the Braves have a better roster than the Mets. I don't think many people are going to say that. I think most people would agree. The Mets just on paper have a much stronger team. Kyle Wright pitching for the Braves. Here's another thing. Kyle Wright pitching. And he had a great July. But who did he really pitch against in July? Are you ready for Kyle Wright's last 4 starts? Ready? Home against the D-backs. Home against the Angels. At Washington. Home against Washington. I mean, come on. And by the way, in those 4 starts against those teams I just named, he let up 2 or 3 earned runs in all 4. So he's not even blanking these teams. Now, I'm not shitting on Kyle Wright here. I'm just saying, due to a very generous stretch of schedule given to him, he has now become overvalued. He's pitching in Citi Field in a rivalry game, coming up to like playoff race time. This is a different atmosphere than pitching at home against the Angels, who can't score on anybody. So yeah, Mets lineup is hot as hell, second in Major League Baseball in OPS against right-handed pitching in the past 2 weeks. Got to ride with my Mets here.
Put me down at the Mets money line for a full unit as well. I actually agree with everything that they said. I honestly think that the Mets bullpen is much better than the Braves too, with Diaz at the back end. So if they have a lead with 4 or 5 outs to go, it's over. I'm all over the Mets today. I really can't add anything more than what they've said though.
Dope. Is the next game Astros at Cleveland?
Yeah.
I'm also loving that
is.
everybody in the comments is like, Braves at plus money. Braves at plus money.
Exactly. I would agree that, like, spot-wise, it probably is a spot to bet the Braves. But I just don't think – I think the Mets right now are playing really well and are just a better team than the Braves. So I'm really ignoring the spot type of thing. Astros at Guardians.
I think the books were putting Atlanta out there at plus money to hook some people.
Oh, no, Toast, you're breaking up a little bit. This hasn't happened in a while.
Yeah, I know.
Damn it. We lost Toast. Houston at Cleveland. You want me to go first, Beaver?
Yeah, sure.
It's a really short one. It's very simple. Justin Verlander's pitching. Dude's a beast, especially on the road. His ERA on the road is like 1.72 or something. I mean, and his ERA at home is like 1.81, right there too. You can basically just book Houston minus 1.5 when Verlander's pitching, because it's cast in 8 of his last 9 starts. And yeah, Cleveland's bats have been working. The Guardians have been scoring runs, but against Verlander, I think it's a pretty safe spot to fade the Guardians, especially with Zach Plesac on the mound. He's been shaky as hell all of July. And I like Plesac. I liked him last year. You could probably go on YouTube and find me with a very incorrect take of saying Plesac's going to be a beast next year. You can probably go and find that. But yeah, I don't think there's any reason to think Plesac will hold the Astros lineup in check. So Beaver, I'm actually so I got Houston -1.5 at -110 for 0.75 units. But actually, while I was talking, I decided I want to add the first 5 run line as well for a half unit. So Houston first 5 minus a half run at -135 for a half unit. I talked myself into it. I'm so goddamn convincing that.
All right.
Back yet?
Yeah, he's back.
I'm back.
Okay.
I hope my voice is fine. I've tried fondling the thing like 50 times. I think we're at an adequate volume now. Let's hope. Yeah, so I'm going to be going with a very sharp play here. Not backing Cleveland necessarily, but I'm also not backing Verlander to strike out some guys. Verlander under 5.5 Ks. I got that at -125. You could get that on DK. This is going to sound a bit absurd, but dude, the Cleveland Guardians do not strike out at home. It is a known fact. It is not something that I've just made up. The last 23 of 25 right-handed pitchers against the Guardians have gone under this line, and the last 20 of 25 right-handed pitchers against the Guardians have gone under their K-prop. Verlander, right? If you go ahead and you look at Verlander's cashes in terms of Ks, who are they against? They're against the AL West, and when we're talking about the Athletics, the Rangers, and the Angels, we're talking about the 1st, 7th, and 8th team in K percentage. Now we're talking about the Cleveland Guardians, the number 1 team in K percentage, and I've already seen some of Verlander's starts where he goes 7 innings pitched but only strikes out 3 guys. The Cleveland Guardians are great at making contact, and honestly today I really like the value here. I got it at just -125. Some books already have this VIG to -165. So specifically I got that on DK. And the other thing I want to say is when he's not facing the AL West, right, he's only hit 2 of 8 games. When he's on the road against a team that's not in the AL West, he's hit 1 of 4 games. I think that there's a nice amount of value here. I think everybody's going to look at Verlander and be like, plus money for Verlander Ks, let me hammer it. I'm going to go sharp here. I've found that with the sharp approach, I've actually been doing better with props, so hopefully this is another nice cash.
I like that. I do like that. Toast?
Yeah, bad guys -1.5 at -110 for a full unit. Every time, I actually don't think that your take on Plesac is as bad as you think it is. He's actually looked really good at times. He's young. He's still a kid at times. So, but anyway, it's Verlander on the road against Plesac, and the bad guys have already destroyed him once this year. I also think that the Astros have a much better bullpen as well. So, I'm all over the Astros today.
Cool. We toast on the same page. Next game, please. I have Rays and Tigers next. Yep.
Wow. Are we gonna hear that noise today? Yeah.
Yeah, we are. I already know. I haven't talked about this game. I already know he's taking Detroit. I already know. Go ahead, Toast.
Oh, sure, no problem. Detroit money line +150 for a half a unit, and Detroit +1.5 at -115 for 0.75 units. You already know what it is. Sauce used this term with Jeffrey Springs, and I actually kind of liked it. He's kind of been like the flavor of the month, but I don't know if I really see it with him. He does have pretty good numbers and whatnot, but for me, it's just the Tigers at home against a left-handed pitcher against a Rays team that I don't really trust. I don't really feel like they've been hitting the ball that well. And again, I just really like playing Detroit at home. And I think that Hutchinson has actually pitched himself pretty well. Detroit did get rid of Fulmer in the bullpen, but they still have enough pieces to keep this game close if they happen to trail. But I don't trust the Rays, not at -185. And to get it down to win by margin, I trust them even less. So there's no way in hell I can't back Detroit here today.
Absolutely. Same exact spot. Yo, honest question. When's the last time that Jeffrey Springs had a solid start on the road? It's been a while. It's back on June 12th. he pitched really well against the Twins in Minnesota. Since then, he went into Baltimore and the O's rocked him. He went into Boston and the Red Sox rocked him. And who is that team rocking? And then he went into the Kansas City and the Royals hit him up. 3 consecutive terrible road starts for Jeffrey Springs. This guy sucks. I'm not backing him. Beaver was big on him too, so it makes me even more excited to fade him. Now I'm not gonna sit here and pretend Drew Hutchinson is some ace, but he's been pitching really well. Not really well. He's been pitching pretty well at home in Detroit, and the Tigers have won 3 straight home starts from him. Now, in case you're not a big baseball guy, the Tigers don't win many baseball games. So for them to win 3 straight home starts is pretty impressive. I feel like there's just a ton of value on the Detroit side here. So my bets are as followed. Beaver, are you ready?
Yeah, they're different than the ones on the screen.
Let me look at the screen. Yeah, they're different than the ones on the screen.
Okay.
Actually, the second one's right. You could change the first one to Detroit first 5 plus a half run at -105, and Detroit plus 1.5 -115 half unit each.
All right. Yeah. So honestly, I was thinking about playing it safe and just going with the half run, but I think I'm just gonna sprinkle a little on both here. I really do like the Tigers here. Go ahead and look at Jeffrey Springs' last 4 starts. 926 OPS, a 392 WOBA, and this is what's really standing out to me, a 40.3 hard hit percentage. The Tigers do not do a lot of things well, but they can crank lefties, and I'm talking about home runs, baby. I think that we see a Javi Baez dick shot to center field today. I would love to see it. And truthfully put, we've seen comments for the past, 5 days, can't back to raise bats. For once, I'm in agreement with you guys. I'm good off backing them here. They've been making the scrubbiest of pitchers look like Cy Young candidates, so I'm pretty good off backing them here. Give me the Detroit Tigers money line plus 150 for 0.5 units, and then give me the Detroit plus 1.5 at, what'd you get that at? -115, and I'll put another half unit on that. I'm employing the toe strategy today of making it essentially +1. Taste it.
All right, next game, Toronto at Minnesota. I'll go. So Sonny Gray has 3 consecutive bad starts at home. The Minnesota bats have seemed to have just disappeared. I would love to go sharp and fade all the money and take the Twins here. I'm just not seeing it. Alek Manoah has been one of the more reliable starters in this entire season. He's been one of the more reliable starting pitchers. And he's coming off a very uncharacteristically bad start against the Detroit Tigers of all teams. I fully expect him to bounce back and throw a gem tonight. This is super public, but I am on Toronto. First 5 -0.5 run at +102 for a half unit. And Toronto money line -125 for 0.75 units. Insert public Pete joke from Beaver.
Nah, it's hard to make a joke about it. It's really a tough spot. I want to go sharp here because the books know something about this game. I don't know what the hell they know, but from the one thing that I'm looking at that I'm kind of getting a sense of is that Alek Manoah is going to give up a few runs here, but so is Sonny Gray. If you look at the total of this game, it started at 7.5, then moved to 8, and then moved to 8.5, but all the money's on the under. So where is this happening? And then I was looking at the bullpens, and both bullpens have been rock solid lately. You got Toronto, who's second in ERA, top 10 in OBP and slug, and then you got Minnesota, who since break is first in OBP, first in slug, and first in WOBA. So I'm trying to figure out where these runs are coming from. I think it's gonna come in the first 5. So I'm gonna go with first 5 over 4. -135 at 0.75 units. The Blue Jays are a very streaky team, but who knows? Maybe they'll score 4 or 5 in the first 5 themselves, and then all the Twins have to do is score a run or 2 to cash this. I think that Manoah, as we know, his worst spot is on the road against some lefties. The lefties in the Twins lineup aren't anything to write home about, but they're Polanco, Arias, Gordon, and Mark Contreras. I'll be candid, not knowledgeable on who Mark Contreras is, but the other three guys are pretty solid. And I think that as long as they could get on base, some of the guys like Buxton and Correa can make a guy like Manoah pay. We've seen in the past 4 starts for Manoah that he's given up runs to the Athletics and the Detroit Tigers. I don't know. I feel like the jig's up with Manoah. I'm not going to say that for the full season, but maybe today he just gives up 2 runs. Who knows? I'm going to go with the first 5 over.
I like that. Like you noticed that the books like the over, and both bullpens have been solid. Because I saw those bullpen numbers too. So I like the logic you used to get to that bet. Nicely
Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Toast?
Toronto money line -125 for a full unit. I love backing Alek Manoah. I think the Toronto bullpen got even better with Pop and stuff from Miami. And I'm getting hit Manoah off of a bad start. Not to mention, I don't trust this Minnesota team yet. Not at all. And they didn't really bring anything in at the deadline. It's all pitching pieces as well. So I think that we're getting a pretty good discount on a very good Toronto team right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I don't really trust Minnesota either. I think that they peaked already on their season. But we'll see. Cubs at Cardinals. This is the second game of a doubleheader.
Yeah.
I have a bet though.
Okay.
I'm going with the Yurfie at -110. For 0.75 units. Screw it.
Wow. Okay.
So Jose Quintana's first start as a St. Louis Cardinal. Maybe some nerves there. Possibly walk a couple guys in that first inning, getting settled. I expect him to be shaky. But the real reasoning for this Yurfie is you got the Cubs starting a relief pitcher. It's a bullpen night for the Cubs. And he's a lefty. And the Cardinals' numbers against lefties in the last 2 weeks are practical joke good. I believe their team OPS against lefties in the past 2 weeks is over 1,200. Let me pull that up to make sure. Oh, it's at 1190 in the last 2 weeks. Holy shit. This team has just been crushing lefties. So with that lefty reliever starting for the Cubs, I think the Cardinals score in the first inning. And I also think there's a possibility Quintana gives up one in the first as well.
I actually like your thought process a lot because I'm going and looking at this Sean Newcomb character's numbers. First of all, the guy in the season has an 11.57 ERA and a 2.36 WHIP. He's only pitching 1 inning at a time, and in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his 7 appearances this year, he's given up a run in 1 inning. So I mean, it's gonna be 1 inning. He goes in here. I mean, we'll see. I like it. I'll add a half unit on it. I like to have fun. Let's do a little Yurfie.
Yurfie up.
Yeah, let's
Yurfie up.
Yurfie up, motherfucker.
Look how mad Toast is. He hates the Yurfie.
Well, the Cardinals are the highest scoring first inning team in the MLB. I noticed that from last year. Actually, the 6th game of the season, Daniel Lynch was making his first start, and I put like a full unit on the Cardinals to score plus 280, and it cashed with ease. So we'll see. Hey, Toast. You're a big fan of doubleheaders, right?
Yeah, super big fan. I'll take a Nerfy for 0.5 units.
What?
This guy's a piece of shit.
What a scumbag.
This guy's a piece
What an absolute
of shit.
scumbag.
What an asshole.
We'll make sure.
That's how you play the game, boys.
Let's be sure to send him a text when Arenado hits one about 408 feet.
It was Arenado who hit it in the game I cashed on. Bing bong shot right to the center field.
Everybody that's new to the show, really quickly, I'm literally making that bet because they made the opposite one. There's no handicapping involved with that.
You're costing yourself a unit, baby.
He's lying to us. There is some handicapping. Toast loves Sean Newcomb.
Don't you have a Pitching Ninja / Sean Newcomb collab shirt?
It's on the way, actually.
He's got a Newcomb jersey.
All right, next game.
Next game. Is White Sox at Texas next?
Yes, sir.
Who wants to go first?
All right. So do you want to go first?
Yeah, I want to go first. So Johnny Cueto could be pitching against the Tri-City Valley Cats in the Grapefruit League. And I would still fade the shit out of it. No chance in hell. I'm taking the White Sox here. Texas money line plus 115.75 units.
Your hate for Johnny Cueto is truly out of pocket at this point. Guy's been solid this year.
What do you mean? It's spot on capping.
Yeah, I guess. Toast,
Go ahead,
do you
go
want
ahead. Back Cueto. I dare you.
I mean, the last time you gave a rant about Cueto and I backed him, he actually shoved. And this kills me. It's so public, but whatever. I'm going with Chicago. First 5 run line, minus 0.5. Where'd I get that at? Let me go ahead and check. Oh, I got it plus 105. This is probably going to be one of my lightest bets of the day. I'm only putting a half unit on it. When you see all the money on Chicago and close to no line movement, I really don't like betting in those spots. But simply put, I really don't want to bet on the Texas. I don't want to bet on the Texas Rangers right now. I don't think they look good at all. That offense looks beyond flat. Last 7 righties against them own a 1.17 WHIP, 2.82 ERA, 26.1 K percentage, and just about every righty that comes in there is not only going 6 innings, but they're striking dudes out. They just made Spencer Watkins look like Cy Young himself. It was actually pathetic. So Johnny Cueto, who has decent numbers against the Rangers and his best spots on the road against some lefties, I think that this is a nice spot for Cueto. Of the last 11 games the White Sox have played in against the lefty, the first 5 run line has cashed 9 times.
Toast?
Dope.
Dope. That's code for I wasn't listening.
Yeah, F you.
No, I was listening. I'm just on a complete other side. I like Texas here today. I think that this line is obviously super fishy at minus 140. I mean, it's or minus 135 on some books. Cole Reagans is actually somebody who's dominated the minor leagues. And what I mean, it's very dominant. AA and AAA. I understand how well the White Sox hit left-handed pitching, but I do think there's a little bit of an advantage to a kid that has playing with house money coming out here at home. Not to mention the fact that everybody and their mother has a White Sox money line bet because of they see a White Sox versus a rookie starter. The Texas bats haven't looked that good lately, but at the same time, we all know that sometimes they don't and sometimes they do. So if they start scoring off of that bum Cueto, they could put up 10 really fast. So I'm all over Texas today. Same bet as Sauce. Texas money line plus 115 for 0.75 units.
You guys be hating on my boy Cueto. Stay hating.
I know. I've bet on him multiple times. I do not. This seems very weird to me to get.
It is very weird.
I mean, I don't know anybody besides Sauce that's playing Texas besides me, and the line's barely moving. It just makes no sense to me.
One thing I will say as a prop guy is I've been staring at Johnny Cueto over 4.5 Ks all day because he's never missed it on the road, and the Rangers are handing out Ks like candy. But if you're putting it at plus 118 and he's 5 of 5 on the road, there's something up there. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if he's going to hit that line. So I just went with the first 5 run line. But God damn it, man, I hate this game. I wish the money was on Texas.
It's not that I hate Johnny Cueto. It's just I don't think he has any talent. Such
a lovely man.
Boston at Kansas City. Who knows? Was anyone else getting the same thing? Like, who the hell knows how to got this thing?
Yeah.
I'll go first. I just backed Bubic. I just took the Royals money line up plus 117. Screw it. Half unit. It's all I'm betting on this game. I think this is the worst game on the board value-wise. Who the hell knows what you're getting from either starting pitcher or either lineup at this point? I mean, also, this might be the 2 worst bullpens in baseball. Like, who the hell knows what's going to happen in this game? It's a complete wild, like anything can happen. Half unit on Royals money line, roll the dice. Who gives a shit?
Toast, you want to go?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm not laying minus 140 with Boston here. This kind of line kind of feels weird. So I'm taking the Royals on the money line for half a unit.
There's just no patterns. Like, Pivetta has looked horrible, but is anyone going to be surprised if Pivetta comes out and throws 6 scoreless? No, not against Kansas City. So he could be every single aspect of the game is like, oh, they could be awesome or they could completely suck. And when every single aspect's like that, it's like, how the fuck, if there's no pattern to hammer down, how do we even?
And it's a price thing for me. Like, I'm going to have to put I would have to put like 0.75 units on a minus 140 team in the Boston that I just can't trust right now. It's just not worth it for me.
I'm pretty conflicted here, but the one thing that just stood out to me and I couldn't not bet was Nick Pivetta over 5.5 Ks at plus 105. The guy's got a 7 of 21 hit rate this year, yet this started at plus 120 this morning, and on some books is already minus 115. I got this, where'd I get this? I believe I got this on plus 104. I got that on Barstool. And the reason I'm going to bet it is because the KC Royals, right? If you think about their lineup and you know what the Royals have done in terms of strikeout props, all of last year, they were an under machine. And for most of this year, they've been an under machine. But all of a sudden, you're taking out Ben Attendee, who's in the 98th percentile of Ks. You're taking out Whit Merrifield, who's in the 88th percentile of Ks. And then you're taking out Emmanuel Rivera, who only has a 20K percentage. And we're talking about a lineup that is very strikeout prone. If we're just going ahead and we're looking at the last 7 righties against KC, they own a 29.3 K percentage and are averaging 7 a game. Our friends at ballparkpal.com, I become definitely less reliant on their game simulations. But in terms of K simulations, they're spot on a lot of the time, and they're projecting 6.4 for Pivetta here. I really like the spot. I really think that KC has kind of lost it. You just saw guys like Giolito and Lynn smoke that K total like a goddamn roasted turkey. I think that Pivetta actually shoves here. If you look at Pivetta's recent stretch of schedule, he's been playing really hard teams. I think he played the Yankees twice. He played Cleveland twice. He played Tampa, who was hot at the time. And Cleveland twice, that means you're getting the lowest K percentage team twice. You're playing Yankees twice, so you're getting a top 5 team in lowest K percentage twice. I mean, it was just a rough go with things. I think he gets back on track today. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Pivetta throw like 10 Ks today. I think he might absolutely go crazy today.
All right. Nice prop there from Beaver. We need to cut this one short. Well, not cut it short. We're done. So I'm going to give my parlay quick. Because I need to get the VIP out. The Gators game starting real late. So for my parlay, ready, Beaver?
One sec. Yes.
Padres money line, Astros money line, Blue Jays minus 1.5, and that's at plus 398. Put it live so they can see it on the screen. There we go. So that's the parlay I'm giving out. There's going to be one more parlay on the VIP ticket if you have the app, the Sauce Network app, or you're a subscriber on the website. You'll see it. Anyone else have anything to give out? Reclosing.
Yeah. Corey Seager, Jose Altuve, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Jeff McNeil, all to get a hit, plus 274.
Corey Seager in his first game back, or is his second game back?
Second or third.
Okay.
What are the odds at Chief Manga?
274.
All right.
So there's a hit parlay from Toast, a 3-leg parlay from me. Thanks again, everyone, for joining. You already know what's going on Friday. We got 15 games. No, actually 14 games. There's one daytime. We're going to do 4 p.m., same time as usual. See you at 4 p.m. tomorrow. And we're bringing the heat. Everyone have a great night. We'll talk to you on Twitter. Later.